Coming into 2019, I think it's more than fair to say that Lance Stroll was a bit of a controversial figure in the world of Formula One. And actually, at the end of 2019, it's not too dissimilar to the beginning. However, to really talk about his full season and his full year, I think it's important to talk about those early stages and what happened during the 2018 season. So, it seems bizarre. I can't believe this is Lance's first year with Racing Point. It seems like he's been there forever in my mind, but 12 months ago, it was Esteban Ocon who was at the team, and thanks to the team, well, not thanks, it wasn't nice for the team, but they went into administration during the summer break in 2018. The team were bought out by Lawrence Stroll and his consortium of business boys and girls. Lance Stroll was then promoted to the team from Williams. And I think a lot of people, it left a bit of a sour taste in people's mouths, mainly because we had a pretty toxic and spicy relationship between Ocon and Perez. But I think people felt that both Ocon and Perez were very good drivers and were a brilliant match for each other. And Ocon was developing, Perez was still being able to prove his talent. And Stroll was almost jumping the queue a little bit. I think it's how I saw it anyway. And I think there was a bit of pressure on Lance this year to really deliver. Could he be able to match Sergio at all? Would he be able to even score a couple of points this season? It was totally up in the air, and of course there's a lot of hate for Lance Stroll, which I think is a little unfair. This isn't a guy that was just nowhere. He's not a Ragunathan. He's nothing like that. He did have speed, and I think this year in 2019 he's proven some of his doubters wrong. And I definitely feel that it's been a year of development for Lance Stroll, but I don't think it's been quite as good as perhaps I was expecting him to be, especially on a Saturday. Sunday, I think he's been improved drastically, but Saturdays, still a lot to work on, and I could still see why people are a little bit miffed that he is in that seat. Anyway, Racing Points, we'll go the head-to-head battle first, then we'll have a look at Lance's personal statistics. 18-3 in the quali battle is not a nice statistic on Lance's behalf. 16-5 also isn't brilliant. The points gap is a little bit better, 52 to 21. And championship position, Sergio Perez just sneaked into the top 10 in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And Lance Stroll finished P15 in front of the two Haas cars, the two Williams cars, and the Alfa Romeo of Antonio Giovinazzi. His personal statistics look a little bit like this, and also I love that picture of Lance Stroll with his pink Santa hat on. It's one of the best of the season. Anyway, 21 points scored over the course of the year. Championship position P15. A best qualifying result of P10. Only once got through to Q3 in 2019. We'll talk about that in a moment. And his best race result was a P4. Yeah, P4, and led the Grand Prix for a little bit of, well, I think it was half a lap he led the Grand Prix in Germany. I think it's, like I said, there's been improvements for Lance this year. He's only scored points on 6 occasions. Sergio Perez was clearly the better of the two within that team. The car was not brilliant in the first half of the year, and when I spoke about my mid-season reviews, that's something I highlighted. That Lance has come into a team where Sergio has been since 2014. That's a hell of a long time. He's been thrown in with all this pressure on him, and the pressure, well, I suppose it depends how you look on it, but you could say it's pressure that his dad part owns the team, but you could also see it as it's almost a comfort blanket. But I see it more along the lines of pressure, and there's always going to be a limelight on him whilst he's at that team and to try and deliver and try to perform. But I think there's been improvements in the terms of mistakes and crashes. There's definitely not been as many as we've seen in the past. I definitely think as well, mainly this is probably down to the fact his qualifying has been pretty awful this year. Went on that awful streak at the beginning of the year of not getting out of Q1, and actually went out in Q1 17 times in 2019, which isn't brilliant. Of course, there was that incident where he did get through to Q3 in Monza. Well, he's actually finished in Q3 every single time he's raced at Monza. But there was that incident in Monza where Sebastian Vettel did a spinneroo and almost hit Stroll, and Stroll did a spinneroo. I did just slightly tap him, didn't he? And then Stroll did a spinneroo, and then he came back on the circuit, and it was all a mess. That was one of the incidents that really stick out in my mind. But apart from that, Lance is one lap pace on the opening lap and being able to just keep the car clean more often than not. Yes, you could, I suppose, look at Bahrain, where he made contact with Grosjean. That took both of them out of the race. There was also the incident with Norris in Spain. But apart from that, I think it's been an okay season for Lance Stroll. And in the midfield, that is so crowded with brilliant drivers and cars that just flip around in pace. One weekend they're brilliant, another weekend they're at the back. I think Stroll has been fine, but I need to see more. I'm going to give Lance a 5 out of 10. Perhaps that's a little bit harsh. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Daily Formula 1 content in the build up to Christmas. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one.